Yeah.
Sam?
It gets annoying.
Is that on?
I want to say
It's easier, then we can just plug straight
Yeah.
in. This looks good too.
Good afternoon, everyone. Obviously, we're here this afternoon for the wedding of Ashley and Matthew, and there's just a couple of things I want to let you all know before we do start. If you have a mobile device on you, can I please ask you to turn it off or make sure that it is in silent mode? You've probably already noticed as well that Ashley and Matthew have a professional photographer working this afternoon. So what they really want from you all is to just enjoy. You don't need to take photo lenses, just watch the wedding through your own eyes. If you do happen to sneak a wedding, because not everyone listens, well not everyone pays attention, but if you do happen to sneak a photo, please do not post anything onto social media sites. It's Ashley and Matthew's wedding to announce to the rest of their family and friends, so please make sure you're brave for doing that. I guess maybe once you've got the brothers go up, that's alright, but not beforehand. Well, look, that's about everything, but can I just ask, please, once we've been joined by our bride, can you please all come forward and make sure the seats are all taken up? All the photographs and that sort of thing look so much better when the seats are full instead of a sea of white, so please do that. And also be aware that we are streaming this wedding through a number of sources to those who couldn't be here this afternoon. So be aware of the other cameras that are fixed and mounted around the place as well. Okay, so now we just not too late. I know she's here. That's why we started. But you know, she might be just getting a few photos this week. Family and friends, welcome. And thank you for coming together today in this beautiful setting to celebrate the marriage of Ashley and Matthew, to give recognition to their love and to wish them happiness for their future life together. I would like to begin by acknowledging that in choosing this location, Ashley and Matthew would like to recognise the long-standing custodians of this place, the indigenous peoples of this country. In particular, we acknowledge the Kaurna peoples, the traditional owners of the lands and waters of the region on which we gather today. I would also like to ask that we please close our eyes just for a moment to bring to mind the loved ones who are no longer with us. In particular, I mention Matthew's father, Vincent. Though they are absent physically, we know through our thoughts and prayers that their loving presence surrounds us always, and in particular is with us today on Ashley and Matthew's wedding day. Now, as you all probably know, Ashley and Matthew met as housemates sharing a property together. And they broke the number one rule of housemates. You don't date your housemate. Well, there are rules, of course, for a reason, but some rules are meant to be broken. And the fact that we are all gathered here today as they promise the rest of their lives to each other proves for once and for all, this was a good rule to break. 3 weeks after deciding to become more than housemates, they hired a van and drove to Victoria for the Meredith Music Festival. They shared a love for travel and obviously a love for music too, but after this trip, they decided to sell all their worldly possessions, buy a 4-wheel drive and head out across Australia. They were away for nearly a year, and looking back, they are very grateful that it was 2019 and not COVID-impacted 2020, because things might have been very, very different. But they enjoyed their travels, they loved each other's company, and living in a 2 metre by 2 metre space for nearly 12 months, that also included space for their dog, has cemented this relationship through the future. Matthew tells me that Ashley has the biggest heart of anyone he knows. She will always listen to and help her friends and family, and of course he also when needed. She is a very calm listener who always has sage advice when things do get tough. And she also has a great sense of humour. Ashley believes Matthew to be an inspiration, always encouraging her to be the best that she can be. She admires his creativity, and no challenge is too big. From carving a spoon out of a fallen tree, to making wallets and bags, and when necessary, even fashioning a belt in the 5 minutes after ordering the Uber before it arrives. He even managed to build himself a guitar just by watching YouTube videos. He is curious, courageous, and determined. He shows his love through his kindness and compassion, and is Ashley's biggest cheerleader. Ashley and Matthew share the same values and morals, and they are the best of friends, and this forms the basis upon which everything else has grown. I am duly authorised by law to solemnise marriages according to law. Before you, Matthew Joseph Tropiano, and you, Ashley Sian Moat, are joined in marriage in my presence, and in the presence of these witnesses. I am to remind you of the solemn and binding nature of the relationship into which you are now about to enter. Marriage according to law in Australia is the union of two people, to the exclusion of all others, voluntarily entered into for life. Understanding these things, do you, Matthew, take Ashley to be your wife? Do you, Ashley, take Matthew to be your husband?
I do.
Before the witnesses present here today.
Before the
open and honest, and to care for you always, and to care for you always.
I, Ashley,
Before these witnesses present here today,
before these witnesses present here today,
take you, Matthew,
take you, Matthew,
to be my lawful husband.
to be my lawful husband.
I promise to love and encourage you,
I promise to love and encourage you,
to share hopes and dreams with you,
to share hopes and dreams with you,
to be open and honest,
to be open and honest,
and to care for you.
and to care for you always.
And now, from what I hear, can I be about the 20th person today to ask if you'd have 2 rings? Thank you very much. Ashley, I give you this ring as a symbol of my love. As a symbol of my love and all that we share.
Too late.
Yeah. Matthew, I give you this ring
Matthew, I give you this ring
as a symbol of my love
as a symbol of my love
and all that we share.
and all that we share.
Matthew and Ashley, these rings are your gift to each other for your wedding today. They shall always represent the love that you share and the promises that have united you here in marriage today. And now everyone, with great happiness at this point in the ceremony, I will declare Matthew and Ashley to be husband and wife. You may now kiss your bride. Checking with the photographer. Beautiful. Everyone, we're going to move to the signing table. We'll sign the certificates of marriage. I ask our 2 witnesses to join us for that. Then we'll return to this spot to finish the wedding. Now I believe there are bubbles to be handed out, and already looks like the cones have been handed out. Cones of candles, that is. So
Oh. Alright, maybe you can pull your chair in a bit closer, Matthew, so you're, that's it. And then the two of you can pop your arms around each other too. That's it. Good, and then stand in a little bit closer on this side. Alright, get everyone looking this way. And nice and happy. Beautiful, and another one like that. Beautiful. Alright, we can. I'll get one of them by themselves as well. So this one I'm going to get your arms around each other again. Get really close together.
That's cool.
See those smiles coming? I'm going to get you to look towards each other. And lean in for a little kiss, closing eyes. Beautiful. Thank you.
Keep the sun out of your eyes. Now they're married.
Mark, you need a drink, mate. You worked so hard.
Tell them, mate.
We just had a last little bit today.
Ceremony's so long, Nick.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience there. Now, before I do leave Matthew and Ashley in your care, I'd just like to ask you all, when the ceremony is over, please stay in the area. They would love to get a group photograph with everyone present. So once the ceremony is over, they'll walk amongst you for a quick congratulations, then follow Lisa's instructions to get the group photograph. Then you're all, after that, able to go and get a pre-reception drink if you like, except for parents, siblings, nieces, nephews and grandmothers, the immediate family, who please stay here for further photos. Once that's all done, I think about 6 o'clock you'll be joined by the bride and groom for the reception. But that's all from me, so thank you once again for your presence here this afternoon. The only thing left for me to do is declare Matthew and Ashley married and introduce you for the very first time to the new Mr. and Mrs. Tropiano.
the old timey one.
Party with me.
Some person there.